In certain ways, the last two games for the Cavalier men's basketball team have been like the show The Sopranos. Most of the series, pretty good. The ending, not so much.
There's also a tornado watch here until 9 o'clock Central Time. We'll hope that holds off, most particularly that last one, because if I left here without seeing a tornado, I'd be okay with that.
It was a 10-day, 6-game road trip in which the Cavaliers played in 4 different time zones and covered more than 11,000 miles. But tonight, Virginia returns here to John Paul Jones Arena for the first time since November 15th. The glasses half full approach would be to tell you that the Cavaliers have now held opponents to less than 50 points in 3 straight games. The first time that's happened since the 1948-49 season. Well, true, that's definitely not what Tony Bennett's team is focusing on today, following a win in which the Cavs, quite frankly, get lucky. For most people, Hawaii is a popular vacation destination where one can get some sun, take in some sights, and maybe even do some hula dancing. But you probably won't find former Cavalier DeBrickashaw Ferguson donning any straw skirts during his time on the island, as the all-business New York Jet is headed to the Pro Bowl. The coach for the Highlanders is Brad Greenberg. He's the brother of Hokies coach Seth Greenberg. The Cavaliers beating Seth's Virginia Tech Hokies on Sunday night and will look to make it a sweep over a family of Commonwealth rivals here tonight. Saturday's win over Miami marking Virginia's first victory over a ranked opponent since October 25th of 2008, when they beat Georgia Tech on the road. The players, however, say they don't look at the number next to the team's name. They're just concerned with getting a victory.
Candy Comer has been the director of golf operations at Glenmore Country Club for 14 years and teaches some of the area's best golfers. In order to maximize performance, she uses a system used by many professionals, and that is unique to Glenmore in this area.
I use a lot of video. I have the V1 system, which basically I can video your golf swing, break down your golf swing, and then actually email you your golf swing, the summary of your lesson at the end of it.
To demonstrate the system, Candy will give a lesson to a guy who sure could use the help.
PGA bound.
Me. Candy starts by analyzing my swing, making a quick correction to my posture, and watches me hit a few golf balls. All of my activities are recorded by 3 different cameras and transferred to a computer. After the lesson, we head back and see just how good I really did. Candy even compares my swing to that of some of the PGA's best.
Now watch Tiger's. He's going to stay. He doesn't lift at all.
Candy did not just get to this point overnight. She experienced quite a bit of success in her playing days, and now looks to pass that down to others.
I played for the University of North Carolina on a full golf scholarship. I played on the United States Curtis Cup team, which is probably the highest honor you can receive as an amateur. And I've played in 5 U.S. Opens, finishing 14th was my best finish.
At the end of the day, she enjoys teaching the game of golf and is glad to have the tools to do it right.
It's one thing for me to say it, but for them to see it, they'll believe it. So I would say I definitely have the latest and greatest technology.
Things not looking so good for Virginia on Monday as the Cavs blown out by Washington by 43 points. But Tony Bennett's team bouncing back against Oklahoma, and tonight with a chance to leave Hawaii as the 5th-place team in the Maui Invitational. Will Sherrill and the Cavs looking to carry over from yesterday's win, and they'd see it early. This Joe Harris off the inbounds drains the 3. Cavs open the game on a 20-4 run. Wichita State climbs all the way back, though. Joe Ragland spots up, nails the triple. Shockers come back to take the 35-31 lead at the break. Early second half, nice look here from Mike Scott to John Tail Evans for the 2. UVA within 2, but the rest of the frame belonging to Wichita. The ball gets down to Garrett Stutz, just flips the ball over his head, in for 2. Shockers by 10, and then the kick out to Graham Hatch. Nothing but the bottom of the net right here gives Wichita State the 12-point advantage, and that's the way it stays. UVA falls 70-58. Mike Scott a double-double of 16 points, 10 boards in the loss. UVA just 9 for 28 from the floor in the second half. Virginia now 3-3 and will head to Minnesota on Monday. The Cavalier women about to embark on a pretty difficult stretch of their own. Virginia tipping off play tomorrow in the Paradise Jam on the Virgin Islands. The Cavs opening up a string of 4 straight ranked opponents against number 17 Iowa State tomorrow at 3:15. Debbie Ryan's group 3-1 on the year and topping Longwood the last time out. Virginia 0-1 against ranked opponents on the young season, falling at 4th-ranked Tennessee last week. Virginia football has not won a road game in 2010 and cannot qualify for a bowl, but right now the Cavaliers' sole focus on ruining Virginia Tech's final home game of the 2010 season. Mike London taking his squad down to Blacksburg on Saturday in hopes of capping off an up-and-down year on a high note. The Cavs have not beaten their arch rival since 2003 and have not won in Blacksburg since '98. These seniors will hope to go out with the upset win over the 13th ranked Hokies come Saturday. Keith Payne practicing yesterday and today and appears in line to take the field this weekend after missing Boston College with a lower leg injury. The Wahoos say that a win on Saturday would be a great way to send off the seniors and a solid building block for the future.
I'm very optimistic about where we are, where we're going.
As for the Hokies, they enter fresh off a 31-17 win at Miami and locking up the Coastal Division Championship. After an 0-2 start, Frank Beamer's group has rattled off 9 straight wins and is a perfect 7-0 in ACC play this season. Tyrod Taylor leading the offense with 23 total touchdowns on the year, leading a Hokie unit that puts up nearly 35 points per game. Cornerback Jaron Hosley leading the nation with 8 interceptions. Despite the different seasons of each team, Beamer and the Hokies not taking the Cavs lightly at all.
I think it's plenty competitive. I think there's a lot of respect between the two schools.
And finishing up on the high school gridiron, Buckingham has its sights set on a Region B championship, but must get through Gretna to do so. The Knights traveling to Gretna for the region title game this Friday at 6. Buckingham topping Clark in the regional semifinal by a 7-0 count in a defensive battle. Knights entering this game with a 10-1 record. So last team on our area playing, see how they do, looking for a trip to the state semis.
Looking forward to it. Thanks, Mark.
Sure.
Thanks.
Back in 2 minutes.
Well, to the high school ranks now, where Monticello's Sean Winfrey has stood out on the football field, as well as in many other areas. Number 54 on the Mustangs roster has come a long way, but in a sense that goes far beyond the gridiron. When you think about a talented, well-rounded student athlete, Monticello's Sean Winfrey is at the top of the list. He helped lead the Mustang football team to a state semifinal in 2008 and was second-team All-State as a defensive lineman. He's also a state runner-up in wrestling, going 40-2 his senior year. Sean's also an excelled violinist, but things have not always been this good for the Monticello senior.
He was walking down the street and this random car just pulls up and starts grabbing me. I'm like, what's going on? And Mom and Dad's just standing there, there's nothing they can really do. So I'm kicking and screaming like, what are you doing?
Winfrey was first put into foster care when he was 4 years old. 2 years later, he was returned to his parents, but was put back into the system by the age of 13.
The first time was because they felt that my mom and dad weren't paying any attention to us. They felt we were neglected. They felt that we didn't have sufficient amount of food. The second time was because they argued and screamed, and I guess they just felt their environment wasn't safe for us anymore, so they pulled us from that environment.
In all, Winfrey says he has been in 4 or 5 foster homes and says the potential was there for him to follow a path that so many in his circumstance had taken.
I was starting to do things I shouldn't have been doing, getting into trouble, staying out late, getting into fights and whatnot. But a lot of that changed once I, kind of matured.
He's never used that as an excuse or a crutch for anything, or even on the contrary, as a driving force. I mean, I think that's something that he lives with and has been able to overcome and make the best of the situation.
After things took several turns for the better in the Charlottesville schools, Winfrey came to Monticello, discovered football, and continued his path in the right direction.
He came to us as a very raw football talent, having never played the game, and developed in the last 3 years into an all-state defensive lineman.
I just didn't focus on, the things that was holding me back. I just let go. My 11th grade year was my expansion year. I grew a lot mentally.
Sean says that his upbringing was not an easy one, but it's his attitude that allows him to be successful.
Focusing on negatives, it's not going to get you anywhere. Getting upset and mad at the world and doing that, it's not going to get you anywhere. The only way to move forward is to forgive people for the things they've done and to move on with your life.
So what a privilege to get to sit down and talk to this
Yeah.
incredible young man there. And Sean's going to continue his college career at Ferrum, where he will play some football. So congratulations to him, and definitely a great story there that a lot of people, I think, can take a lot from.